Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the RandyRun Show number 4. This show is for you to be able to keep up with the Danish news happening in the Danish StarCraft 2 scene in only 20 minutes. The main purpose of this show is to be able to keep 1 week's news down in a very short format, 20 minutes presumably, and actually get everything out to the people who actually is interested in the Danish scene. First of all, we want to thank RandyRun.com for making us able to bring this show to you guys. Without them, it wouldn't be able to bring anything to you at all. But I think Oliver will take us through the headlines of today, if you will.
Yes, of course, CK, and today we will talk about in community news, Idra and EG part ways, GM opened and patch news, and the headline of the week is BabyKnights owns, and in the week to come we are going to talk about the exciting possibilities for some of the players.
Thank you very much, Jordan. But I think we will start off with the community news for today, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Hello and welcome to Community News, and we will start off with Idra and EG parting ways. He had made some not so smart comments that made the community take arms and head to the forums. This caused sponsors and the higher-ups in EG to release Idra from his active playing duty in the organization. In an interview with JP McDaniels on a mini Real Talk, he apologized to his genuine fans, but he still thinks that the raging so-called esport fans should leave the community, that he says we don't really need them. He also states he's not upset about being released, he saw the reasons why they did it, and he's now happy about being able to start his own projects and be more creative and be more of a personality and maybe become a caster. Which means he will not be playing as a professional player anymore. He will of course stream, but not playing in tournaments. If you want to know more about this and learn more about Idra's future, you can head over to the entire interview on JP McDaniel's YouTube channel called It Me JP. And now moving on, GM opened this last Wednesday, and there were several Danish players getting in right away. Some of them were Pink, Bunny, Sunder, Cupcake, Black Kitty, and BabyKnights, but they are not really that surprising. They have been playing really well, and they have been there before. Some of the not so well-known players like Lilleknin and Storm also got in. Storm has shown his face a lot in the Danish community, and with his new position on Copenhagen Wolves, he has a chance to prove that he's a contender for the top of the Danish sugary cake topping. Lilleknin has been a little bit more quiet in the Danish scene and has not shown his ears all that often. It will be exciting to see more to him in HOTS if he will choose to jump out of his little hole. And moving on to the patch news. Talking about the previous patch 2.0.8, it was mostly a bug fixing patch, but news and exciting stuff came in with the patch as well. The new replays they're talking about, Blizzard, is packed full of information that will make it easier for people to extract information from replays and make better analysis tools. And the current programs that can utilize this feature is GG Tracker and SC2 Gears. And they have also open sourced the Python S2 protocol project. Kind of fancy, but it's basically some data that will allow people in the community to take it and make better analysis tools for their game. And also an upcoming balance patch. We all talked about last week how they made the balance test map on Echelon Waste. And after conducting the balance test last week, Blizzard found one tweak they wanted to make, and that is to the Spore Crawler. Although they have not specifically said what they will change, but it's definitely been revised. They state that balance is overall at a good level and that they would like to take things slowly, so the Spore Crawler is what they will be looking into for now. And that was it for community news this week's. Take it away, CK.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olden, and we're going to move on to the Super Division recap of this week. For all of you who doesn't know what the Super Division is, it is the the top division of the Danish league, Dansk Metal Star League, also abbreviated as DMSL. These 16 players is the best players in Denmark, except BabyKnights, of course, he's never in Denmark, and they have all been invited for this Super Division. Taking a look at the Super Division 1, which holds following players: Bunny, Wrath, Black Kitty, Korax, Heshla, Pink, Phalo, and Strindon. We had the first game of the Super Division 1, which was Bunny versus Wrath. This was hardly a problem for Bunny. He's currently holding a 10-0 in map scores, and Wrath is located in the bottom of this subdivision. Hardly a problem for Bunny. The second game was Black Kitty versus Korax, which unfortunately was a walkover since Korax resigned in the third round of Dansk Metal Star League. But moving on to the next game was Heshla versus Pink, which actually turned out to be an exciting game, since Heshla is located in the bottom of this division, while Pink is located in the second position. Before this round, only have lost one map. Actually, Heshla came on and took one map away from Pink, and was very close from taking the whole series in this. Unfortunately, Pink came out on top in the last game, and Heshla is still in danger of dropping out of the Super Division 1. The last game we had Phalo versus Strindon, which unfortunately was a walkover since they had some problems scheduling the match, since there was some internet problems with one of the players. So Phalo took the defeat, since he said to us that he actually doesn't care that much to go into the championship bracket. He just wants to be able to stay in the Super Division for the season 2, since his passion for the game has been lowered extremely over the course of the last month. If we take a look at the standing at the moment in the Super Division 1, we have the following stand. We have Bunny and Pink, like since the beginning of the season, looking very good in this league. They have both won all of the 5 games in this 5 first rounds, with Bunny having a 10-0 map score and Pink having a 10-2 map score. It seems more likely that in the last round, where Pink and Bunny is actually going to meet, it's going to be the deciding factor of who will be the first in this group. In Super Division 1, we seem to have quite a gap between the 3rd and 4th player and the last 4 players: Phalo, Korax, Heshla, and Wrath. And it doesn't seem likely that any of the last 4 players will be able to qualify for the championship bracket. And of course, Korax has resigned, so no possible effect right there. In the bottom, we have, of course, Heshla and Wrath struggling very much in this series, in this league, not winning a single series in the first 5 rounds of Dansk Metal Star League. The next 2 rounds is going to be very exciting to see if which of these 2 players is going to stay in the Super Division, if any, since Korax is going to lose the last 2 rounds since he have resigned. Taking a look at the Super Division 2, which holds the following players: Sunder, Utopie, Vium, Cupcake, Avikatten, Forminator, Raggy, and last but not least, Dro. The first game was Sunder versus Utopie, which actually was a very close game. Utopie took the first game in the series, but unfortunately for Utopie, Sunder showed what a great player he is and took the last 2 games of this series. At this point, it seems very unlikely for Utopie to qualify for the championship bracket, while Sunder is actually battling for the first place in Super Division 2. The second game was Vium versus Cupcake, which turned out quite surprising. Last week we saw that Vium came back from his first slump of this season with a 0 map score, but unfortunately he lost 2-0 against Cupcake in a very exciting Protoss versus Proto match, and is actually only 3 points from the elimination line in Super Division 2. The third game was Avikatten versus Forminator, which turned out to be an exciting game. We showed it on the stream Thursday. Tune in on Danish StarCraft's Twitch channel if you want to see it. It was a very close series and a very important one for these 2 players. It could very well be the exciting factor for the top and the 4th position in the Dansk Metal Star League Super Division 2. At the moment, Avikatten is in first, while Forminator, after this loss, took the 4th place in the league. The last game, Raggy versus Dro, which was again exciting game. I feel all the games in Dansk Metal Star League exciting, but Raggy is not doing too well in Super Division 2. He lost this game 0-2, while Dro keeps his dreams alive of qualifying for the championship bracket with the 2-0 victory against Raggy. Taking a look at the standings at the moment after the round of 5 in the Super Division 2, we have Abekatten, Sunder, Cupcake and Thorminator all very close in the top 4 positions, with Abekatten and Sunder leading, with Cupcake as well. This is the closest division we have in Dansk Metal Star League, while there's only one player, Raki, who's almost certainly going to be eliminated, while even Utopie have a chance to qualify for the championship bracket if everything goes right for him in the last 2 games. We're going to move on to the headline of the week, which is going to be taken care of by Olidan.
Hello, and thank you, CK, and I will take you away with this week's headline, which is BabyKnight that demolished WCS EU Group G, which was his group. After a disappointing DreamHack run, BabyKnight felt he could do better, and he did not disappoint. When he played in his group at the WCS EU, he took us all by storm. He took out some of the best players in Europe in the form of Grobby and Stefano, not dropping a single game to the Zerg player, Stefano, who usually is a top contender in most tournaments. BabyKnight has since then been placed in Group B in the second group stage, which is the round of 16, and here will face Vortex, the Swedish powerhouse Naniva, who recently finished second at DreamHack Stockholm, and of course Happy. And this group will be played out this Wednesday, May 15th at 1800 CEST. And that was this Wednesday, May 15th at 1800 CEST, and that was this week's headline, BabyKnight owning WCS EU Group G.
Welcome back to my face. It's now time to take a look at the second division in the Dansk Metal Star League. But as you're all accustomed to now, we're going to take the match of the week from the second division firstly, before we move on to the rest of the group standings. This match of the week was a very exciting game, certainly. This was a decisive game between Madras and Drafter, which was going to decide whether both or only one of these players was in danger of being eliminated from the second division 2. The game turned in Madras's favor, and as you can see, last week we had the following standings in the Dansk Metal Star League second division, where Madras was actually in the -4 map score, while Drafter was at the 0 map score. After this 2-0 victory, Madras and Drafter is equal in the map score, and if we actually took a look at if Madras was going to lose this game 2-0, he would actually be under the elimination line right now, under Canada, which took his game today. Drafter actually gave us a statement after this game and said, "Drafter and me are teammates, so we have played against each other a lot before we met in the Dansk Metal Star League. From experience I knew that he was better than me, so I decided to all in him since I didn't expect to be able to win against him in the late game, which, after my opinion, worked fine." Taking a look at the rest of the results from the second division, we have the second division 1, where we had Kira taking a walkover win against Rattle, Taz winning 2-0 against Hijacker, but unfortunately Space and Macy lost 0-2 against Snowski, and it's looking very, very difficult for him to stay even in the second division at this point. The last game was the Lilleman versus Irony, where the Lilleman won 2-0 against him, and that leaves us the following standing with the Lilleman and Taz, as well as Kira and Snowski in the run for the qualification for the Super Division for the next season. At the moment we have Space and Macy in the bottom, just under Hijacker, who have under Hijacker with the -5 score, I'm sorry. The second division 2, we have the following results. We have Storm actually take the game against Kira, his closest combatant before this round, as well as Canada winning against Vano at a walkover game. In the third game, Space Marine took the victory against Arnold 2-0, as well as Madras, which was the match of the week, 2-0 Drafter, which leaves us the following standings. Last week we had Kira at the second position, but after Kira lost against Storm and Space Marine won his game, He's now placed in the second position. Storm is still standing at 10-0. Well, he haven't lost a single map yet, so he's looking very comfortable in taking the first qualification for the Super Division. In the bottom we have Svane, who have resigned from the tournament, as well as Canadan and Madras and Drafter in the running. Even Arnold is in the running for elimination in the next 2 rounds. If you're going on to tune in, let's look what the next week is going to be all about. Wow.
Hello, and it looks really exciting, and I will now talk about the week to come. We're coming up to the last part of Danish Players Star League. We only have 2 rounds to go, and we are starting to see a pattern in who will advance to the championship weekend. In Super Division 1, it is looking grim for both Wrath and Heschel, as we heard. One of these players are going to drop out of Super Division based on their performance in the upcoming 2 rounds. Heschler will be facing Corax this week, which means he will not be playing and therefore get a free win because, as we heard, Corax has resigned. Wrath is, on the other hand, going to face off versus Phalo, which is going to be a big challenge. But if Wrath wants to have his spot in Super Division secured, or more secure than it is now, he will have to take a win of Phalo. But with Phalo also being in the dire situation of having a 1-4 in series, he too will be fighting for a win in order to stay. And as we heard, he's not interested in actually winning the entire thing. He just wants to stay in the tournament, so that it's going to be really important. Meanwhile, the top of Super Division 1 could face a serious rotation of positions, as if Bunny loses to Strindon, they will be even on points, and then if Pink beats Black Kitty, he will take first in the group. But if Black Kitty wins versus Pink, he will be neck to neck with Pink, and if Bunny beats Strindon, still in the same scenario of Kitty beating Pink, then we will end up with Bunny leading and then having 2 people sharing second place and Strindon dropping down to third. But there's a lot of speculation about this, and you can head over to Team Liquid, or Liquidpedia it's called here, and look up the brackets and think for yourself. And in the Super Division 2 we have Raki losing to Dro last week, which means of course his match is, or run is, pretty much decided in the MSL. But the rest of the group is exciting, and it's going to be interesting weeks to come here, where everything has a chance to happen. And it's really important for both Dro and Viewmasters to win a lot of games here, because they both still have a chance of breaking into the top 4 and maybe nudge Thorminator or any of the others out of the top 4. The only player that may have a safe spot here is Arakaden with his +6 points. This week he might lose the throne though, as he meets the mighty and scary yet tasteful Cupcake in a CVP you do not want to miss. And speaking of missing a game, if you want this week's matches to be viewed on stream, head on over to the Facebook poll put up by Danish StarCraft in order to vote for the matches you want to watch and not miss. And currently Arakaden and Cupcake is leading the poll, so maybe you should head on over there and vote for the matches you want to see. And of course, if you have any thoughts on this week's news or matches, feel free to leave a comment. This is for YouTube, of course, in the comment section, and share the video with not only your Danish friends but also international films, and let them know that Danish scene is here and is moving forward. And of course, I would like to thank you for watching as I put it back to CK to close out the show.
Thank you very much, Alden, and it's going to be a very exciting week to come, as you just stated. So I'm going to ask all of you who are tuned in right now to head on over to Danish StarCraft on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Danish StarCraft, and vote for your favorite game in the round of 6 in the Dansk Metal Star League. Lastly, I would like to thank again RandyRun.com for sponsoring us and making us able to bring you this show. And I hope all of you is going to tune in the next week. If not, tell your friends to watch this on YouTube. We're going to be putting this up in the next couple of minutes. My name has been CK. My co-host has been Alden, and we'll see you next time.